We'll do that one more time because I didn't have the broadcast going like I've done so many times in the past. I usually do a different workflow. So coming out here at Get Vocal, this is Leland Best coming to you from Wake Up West Coast. It's lunchtime. I should be broadcasting out on Facebook about now or already or somewhere in there along with YouTube. So if you're out there and want to leave a comment, I can bring those comments up here on the screen as soon as I finish getting set up. But I got a short start here for the broadcast today, and then we're going to open up the seats so that people come in and chat. What I said, if you weren't here in the actual chat room over at Get Vocal, was the fact that we didn't broadcast last Monday because of the holidays, obviously. We had show up on our calendar this Easter Monday thing. I didn't know what that was. Us being Jewish, we celebrated Passover, or as we call it, Pesach, which is an entire week of celebrations for us and somewhat somber in most cases, but it's a family-oriented gathering where people get together, do all kinds of really cool stuff throughout the week. We have a couple Sabbaths that we observe as well. And of course, all of the Christians out there were observing Easter, so we just let things go on last Monday and decided not to do a broadcast at a very last-minute kind of decision. But I do usually roll 8 to 10 episodes every time I come out on any broadcasts that I do. So this time I'm kind of changing it up a little bit when I come out here and close out this season 2 so that we can move ahead with some really cool stuff, because I'm actually planning a whole nother process that's going to be coming out. Let me give you this. I'll do this. This is going to be kind of where I'm headed. I've announced this before in the past and never actually started the process. So this time I think we're going to actually go through that and see what we can do. Here we go. So if you got any of that and understood what the heck I was saying in that video, because the video volume was not broadcasting to Get Vocal at first, I'm going to teach you guys how to not do that stuff. Okay. So you don't mess up on where your audio is going, where your video is going, whether your green screen is going to work or not. I had planned on doing a Wednesday webcasters workshop for months now. It's been one of those things that I've been wanting to do, and I just haven't had the opportunity to put it all together and make it happen. I would base that information on the book that I wrote back in 2017, which was called Best Guide to Live Stream Video Broadcasting. We'll talk about all that at some point during the broadcasts. But as far as that goes, I wanted to get out here and come on an evening show is what I'd really like to look forward to, more so than the noon thing, though I do love this broadcast. I hope to continue this broadcast over many seasons. I really do enjoy the networking that we do out at Wake Up West Coast, so I'm hoping that tradition stands over time. And as long as Get Vocal's here to host this, we'll see what we can do with that. As far as the Wake Up West Coast, it is done for those who just arrived for the season, so we will start season 3 probably. I don't like to broadcast much in the summer. Not season epitaph type, or I should say episodic content, because it's just a lot for me over here on the river. When things get going in the summer, things get exciting. We get on the water. We like to be out on the deck. So I don't spend a lot of time in the studio. And that's probably going to be the case as well this summer. But let me go check the comments real quick on what we got here at Get Vocal so that those folks don't feel like I'm ignoring them at all. If you want to come join the conversation, the link is in the chat on Facebook, not on YouTube, because you're actually getting a little better view out there if you're watching from there. Though there are some new features out here at Get Vocal. If you're not familiar with the platform, we now have presentation mode, which allows us to bring a big screen of the host's presentation up above those if they bring some others into the seats. I can't demonstrate that right at this moment because you're not on Get Vocal if you're out on Facebook and YouTube. You'll have to see that for yourself. Let me just do one thing here before we get too far. I want to connect to my feeds out there on Facebook, and that means acquiring a quick address that I thought was all set up here, but it looks like it went somewhere on me. So I'm just connecting my vMix social app to Facebook Live. And if you guys haven't heard the news recently, one thing that is going on over at Facebook Live. Hey, ET, how's it going? I see Preston. I see Joseph. I got myself. So we got 3 folks over here at Get Vocal right now. Appreciate you guys and all the support that you give me out here at Wake Up West Coast. The whole thing that's going on in Facebook right now, which we will have to talk to Get Vocal about. I'm hoping they're already set to cover this. RTMP, which you're all familiar with, is a broadcast method, which is real-time messaging protocol, allows us to send signals out to any website we want that has a server that will accept that feed, and we can do live broadcasts. Now, in that, Facebook has decided to go one step further and go to RTMPS, which is a secured format of RTMP. Now, that does require some altercations to websites that broadcast out. So what you might think is a good custom RTMP site, you may discover that some of the features they've built in only allow you to broadcast in RTMP, which will keep you from broadcasting to Facebook. So be very careful on where you decide to park your hat right now, let's say. And when I mean that, it's if you're going to anything like Get Vocal or Stage 10 or Be Live or anything like that that's broadcasting, I assume right away Be Live's API connected. Shouldn't be a problem. Anybody that's coming in through the RTMP servers, however, is going to have to consider that, because you cannot send an RTMPS signal to YouTube and Periscope. They just don't accept them. So you can't send the same signal out to Facebook anymore that you can send to YouTube and Periscope or any other custom RTMP. So keep that in mind. From there, we got Preston. They do not allow you to do another one. You can send one signal now. Oh, did they finally wrap that up? As far as send one signal, Preston, go ahead. I'm going to open up the seats here in just a minute, but just wanted to cover a couple of things. One was something I just experienced. I was going through the process of moving some stuff around on computers over here. My wife was on a laptop, and we had a PC that was originally at her desk, and I was working on that to up its. I did some upgrades to it and got her back off the laptop. Well, what I discovered, and I did some digging to find out even more so, over the October 2018 update on Windows, there were some serious issues that actually stopped the initial update from proceeding. They were wiping documents, videos, and download folders completely on Windows machines. There was some reason that there was something in the code that was causing the upgrade file to completely wipe out those directories. And some people lost thousands and thousands of files. It was ridiculous. Now, this was back in October that this was caught, and then they stopped the ability to download that update. But a lot of us didn't even get the update, like myself, until just a month or so ago on the 2018 update from October. Well, one thing we caught that was really distressing was the OneDrive access that's being used by Microsoft. And it's much like Google Drive, where you can upload files into the cloud, use those files, share those files, whatever you want to do with them. They give you 5 gig of space to do so. But what we discovered is there's a small option. I've taken it off all my machines, so I cannot actually show you. I wish I would have recorded it. But what Microsoft has done is they've connected OneDrive to your machine in such a way that they have a feature set under the general settings, the very last one in the box, that says something about leaving saved space. It's a space saver option of some kind or another. I'll go back and dig it up. I'm going to do a report on it at some point. But what it does, literally, is it starts taking files off your machine, puts them in the cloud, and doesn't give you any further access to them unless you're connected to the internet. Think about that for a minute. I was sitting here watching my machine, uploading all kinds of pictures off of my machine. I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't tell you to do that. Well, what I discovered was by default, OneDrive, when installed on an initial install of Windows, has these options already checked. So you have no choice. They just start uploading files from your documents, pictures, and downloads folder immediately, right away. It's like you don't even have a say in this because you've uploaded the software. You didn't even know this option was on there. And yet all of a sudden, all your files are going to the cloud. So be very careful if you're updating Windows right now or even using OneDrive, and make sure that your settings are correct. If you're seeing a link come up in your folders that say, where are my files, which is when I saw that, I was like, yeah, I want to know where my files are, because I opened my documents directory and here there was nothing but this one file. I was like, there should be 300 documents in here. What's going on? Well, it says, where are my files? And I click on it and I couldn't see anything because it wouldn't connect. I wasn't connected to the internet. I was on my laptop. Then I took the fob over to the other PC at the time. So I couldn't connect. It wouldn't let me have my files. Literally, I couldn't access them at all unless I got back on the internet. And then I had to find a way. You have to right click the folders that have been taken to the cloud and tell it to also include or leave behind these files on your machine. You right click and you'll see the prompt in the menu. I was like, oh my God, they're just taking people's stuff and then asking them if they want it back. I was totally blown away. So if you have OneDrive, if you're using it, I highly recommend you dig into this and find out more about it. If you want to get with me during the show, even we can talk about it. If you can share if you can share your screen, we can certainly bring it up and we can see if your settings are that right now and let you know if you should maybe check on how you can back up your data before you accidentally delete it, because get this, it even gets worse. From there, you may find that your files are on the cloud and you say, okay, I want you to stop associating my directories with what you have sucked up and put up into your system. But when you do that, you would tell it, you'll right click and say, okay, I don't want you to link to my pictures folder anymore. I don't want you to link to my documents folder anymore. And when you do that, the first prompt that comes up, it tells you, it says, okay, you're going to disconnect these files from your computer. They will remain in the cloud, but they will all be removed from the PC that's connected to this device. So they're going to delete files. If you remove the connection to what's already on the cloud, everything on your computer goes away. It just I watched it. It literally wipes out. It wiped out 12 gig of pictures that I had on my machine. And when I saw them all going up into the cloud, it got like 1.5 gig was all that was left on the cloud. I thought I'd saved them all up there. Well, what had happened was I had actually told it at one time not to connect to that folder, and it started to wipe everything out. Literally almost took it all off my machine. Somehow it's storing a temporary file location so that, and I've done this as well, even after deleting folders that had photographs in them, I saw Microsoft's OneDrive uploading the files I had just recently deleted. So what that tells me is they're caching the files somewhere in a folder elsewhere in the software and then uploading them at any time that's necessary, that it has access to the internet or to your processor so that it can actually do the work to get it up there. Blew my mind. I was like, oh my gosh. So completely removed it all from all my machines. I will never touch OneDrive again. It's a very dangerous system setup that they have right now. So be very careful. If you're using it, I would definitely check it out. So, all right, I'm going to hit the prompts. Let me just check real quick. I don't think I have anybody coming in from Facebook right now, even though that broadcast should be live. So if you do have a comment out on Facebook and you're just watching, leave it in the broadcast. I can see them out here on my software, and I can bring them across the top. Or you can come over to Get Vocal and hang out. So I'm going to open up the seats, everybody. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to read through some of these. Let me see what we got. Doesn't automatically save in Access. That's true. It's kind of an account thing. Notice I got things from my wife's files, photos. I used OneDrive for everything for the past 6 years. And that's great, Fonzo. If everything's working for you, I totally understand where that is. If you've updated it and everything and seen. So let me ask you that, Fonzo, as a question. Are you utilizing the access it gives you to store all your files up there and access them through your documents and video folders as though they're not really on your machine, but you're still getting the access that they do that to save space on your machine? I'm just a little leery about it. Let's see. I'm using like a 400. Oh, okay. So you've paid for the 1 terabyte drive under Office, which is fine. I think a lot of times what we tend to forget is free offerings are usually just that. When you ask for something from someone and it's the free offering, it's not always the greatest version of whatever they may produce. So if you're using OneDrive on Microsoft Office, and especially an enterprise package, I can understand where that drive probably functions very well. I'm referring just to the OneDrive that gets installed on your system automatically when you install Windows 10. All right. What else we got? All right. ET says next we open up PC settings on OneDrive. Turn off all the various syncing and storage options in the file storage tab. Turn off save documents to OneDrive by default. That's true. And then go to the camera roll tab and choose don't upload photos, followed by disabling the automatically upload videos to OneDrive option. And see what I mean? We shouldn't have to do that though, ET. That should be all optional. That they shouldn't be just raping I'm sorry, that's a bad word to use, and I shouldn't use that word. They shouldn't be pulling files from us like that and just taking them at their leisure, because they're not prompting us during the install that, hey, we're going to connect to your photos drive. We're going to connect to your documents drive. We're going to connect to this drive. And we're going to take all your files, whether you like it or not. And then we'll ask you whether or not you want to access them again out on the internet. That's just lame. Okay. I'm going to go back to Foursquare. So welcome to the broadcast. Preston, how are you doing today?
Good. I like the no format. This is cool. This is what we're hoping for.
It works. I like it. But I found it doesn't broadcast like this out online.
Oh, I suppose it won't. Yeah.
You still get the 4 squares when you do the broadcast, but it's great for people to come over here and see a presentation if you want to give it. we lost him. He just poof, he just went away. So we'll just move on. So I just wanted to get the word out here. What I'm going to be doing over at the Webcasters Workshop, obviously to the best of my extent, is I'm going to cover software like OBS and the Get Vocal Presenter mode. We will talk about Get Vocal quite a bit and how OBS connects to this system to help people understand the feature sets and the other options that they can build in. There he is. He's back. So
I got kicked out. I got kicked out.
You got kicked out.
I thought this was fixed.
I wonder when that does it or why. And I know I didn't wave over anything. Possibly. No, I didn't do anything off the cuff there. I wasn't going for you. I wasn't stabbing at you.
The camera is nice. Thank you very much, Leland. Because of
good, I see it looks a lot better.
But it's funny at night. It's horrible because obviously it doesn't give a lot of light. So you have to have light in the room.
Did you get the driver? Is what I said. The app, the Logitech camera settings app.
Yeah, I did.
Have you gotten that one?
But okay, see, now I think this is a problem though because it doesn't zoom really well, or it gets stuck in zoom.
If it's getting stuck during a zoom, it's tough to say. It only click zooms. It doesn't have like a what's the multi-level zoom? It's simply stage zoom. So you have size settings already.
Because I also downloaded the gaming option, which allows you to do more.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
and that's where it just clicks like zoom 2 or 3 times, but it goes all the way up to 5 or 6, but it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, that's tough though. I think that's possibly for the 922 that has a little deeper depth on their zoom and their width. Actually, that picks up a wider angle than, not by much, but it's a little bit wider. But there should be an automatic low light setting in the software. Let me pull up mine real quick. I don't have mine running right now.
I know we weren't going to talk about this. I mean, because you were talking about because I noticed that too with OneDrive. I mean, my wife, somehow I got her files because she has a OneDrive, but I don't think I do. So I have no idea.
I never had much of a problem with it. And that's the thing. My wife's always used it. I used Google Drive for quite a while. Now I'm using my own backup systems and things of that nature. I've got enough drive space over here now. I don't really need much for cloud storage. Yeah. But when it comes to the recent updates on OneDrive and this whole keeping your files on the cloud automatically, I was blown away seeing all my data going up on the cloud when I didn't tell them they could have it. That upset me. So there's a concern there.
Well,
yeah, pCloud is a good little place. So is what's the name? I forget. Go ahead.
So the thing is that there's all these pictures that are coming on my computer now. They're not on my computer. You're saying they're on the cloud. So as long as I'm connected to the internet, I'll see it. If I don't connect to the internet, I won't see it.
Yeah, what it does is it leaves a little link that says, "Where's my files?" You go click in there, and there's nothing there. But in reality, they've already uploaded everything and removed the access from your folder. It takes you directly to the OneDrive folder, and you'll see the little cloud next to your files when it's done that. But what I've discovered is because of the difference in timing between when you copy stuff over and when it actually gets on the cloud is a whole nother story. I was sitting here, I had a full folder of extra camera files that I brought in, just uploaded an SD card. I took that folder and it started, it got on the desktop. So the desktop was connected to OneDrive. So it started to upload the files automatically. I deleted that and I stopped it. I paused it. I pulled it from the queue and then I deleted that folder. And yet 5 minutes later, after a reboot, it continued to upload those same picture files that had already deleted. So it cached them somewhere else as a copy beforehand and then started to send them. And I'm like, man, you ain't got no rights to be doing that. What's your problem?
Yeah.
So
I would think a lot of people would be writing about this too and complaining about it because Microsoft is big brother now. They're just taking information and pictures that we didn't give them permission to do.
Oh, cool. Wow. 50 gig on Mega. That's pretty cool, ET. Let's check that out. So ET just mentioned a cloud service for storage that gives you 50 gig on their free service. Is that Mega? What? Mega.com or Mega something?
Megabit? I've heard of that. I think I have.
I've heard of Mega too, but I've never been out there. I just played around with one the other day that was, I can't remember it. I had it up here. It was a very simple name, like Secure Cloud or something like that. Or
Unlimited storage. Out of cloud.
Yeah, I gotta see that. I had no idea they were giving away that much stuff. Out of cloud and Mega. I'm going to take some screenshots here real quick. Hold on.
And they never have rights to it. Huh? They never can see the files that you put in there.
No, right?
That's why it's free.
So,
They got to make money somewhere.
right. So what would you guys like to learn about? I'm going to be doing this class probably Wednesday night. I'm thinking 7, 8 o'clock, maybe later. I'm thinking actually I may go 9 or 10 because my wife's usually an early to bed, early to rise type. So 9, 10 p.m. might be a good time for me to hit the West Coast, the East Coast, and even still reach some people in other countries out on the East.
I'd like it. I only have, because I have my meeting with my team at 8 p.m. So that should work. If it goes longer, then obviously I won't be able to. But
I got to
try to see the recording.
1 hour. I may connect it to Patreon, though. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that with this service. I'm going to start it off free and just see what people think. And if it goes well, it goes well. I didn't have a problem with closing up the season here on Weekend or Wake Up West Coast because we don't get a lot of traction on this show. Not a lot of people understand how this works as a networking site yet, but that's okay. I just want people to see replays of us interacting and be able to connect. So we'll still do these shows on the regular, just maybe be 8, 10 per season, something like that.
Cool. So I had problems yesterday on Sunday. That's why I wanted to come in too. I'm using vMix and I understand it. And Saturday night we had everything working fine. Everything. Yeah. I got the sound from the soundboard because of your well, actually we didn't even use iRig. We used something else because it wasn't going to go on our cell phone. It was going to go into my computer because we had internet and there was no issue with that. The problem is that when I broadcasted it, for whatever reason, I could not get master sound to work. There was no master sound, so there was no sound in the whole broadcast.
Okay. Master sound is going to relate to the settings on your settings tab inside vMix. Let me see if I can show you that here. Yeah. I usually set mine to the vMix. Are you using the voice meter setup too?
No, I didn't. I didn't want to mix that until I knew what it was doing.
Once you start going there, it does.
Yeah.
So you get a desktop.
I saw somebody do a video on it, and it was like a 20-minute video. And he says, I've solved because I learned it. And I'm like, I'm not going to learn this. Not yet. It looks too complicated.
All right, let's see if I get the right display here.
But I think it's, I don't know. It could be the setting on my computer too, or something. I don't know what I changed. I didn't change anything because I left it all alone. The only thing I did was I used my headphones at night.
Let me show you mine. I'm going to drag my screen over here so you guys can see vMix real quick for a second. I'm going to go away while I'm doing that. On this particular screen, you're going to see the deep effect that you're going to double up on some screens here. Yep. Up here in the corner under settings, you're going to get your main window, and you're going to have to make sure under audio outputs that your master output is set up to wherever you need to send it to. If you just go with your default audio, then you need to make sure your default Windows playback device is actually producing sound, whatever that might be, or select whichever one you want to send it to. For me, I use voice meter, so I send my output to my auxiliary input, or I should say, I'm sorry, my voice meter input, and then it goes from voice meter out. So whenever I select an audio device on a site like Get Vocal, I don't select vMix in any way for any kind of sound or my default sound system. I select voice meter as my default. And then I can fully control all of the sound that goes through my system here and not have to worry about where everything's going, because I know I'm putting a signal out through my mic. I know I'm putting a signal out through my computer or not. I can turn that on and off. I can add other mics. I can add background music, all that kind of stuff. So I just leave it at that. It's difficult to decide which way you want to go. It's because it's so customizable.
Yeah. Maybe I didn't have the settings and input. I don't know. I should probably pull that up right now since I have it on there.
Another thing to do is to make sure you toggle on any devices that you want audio mixing done automatically for you. And you have to be careful there. One thing I've noticed with any of the vMix settings is if you have additional output devices with headphone settings for monitoring, you will get that audio in your ear as well while you're broadcasting if you don't turn these mics down to stop monitoring. Okay, that's basically what that is a headphone monitor port.
Right.
Every device that comes in like that, and you can see here, like this one's turned on, this one's turned on or off, audio for this input. So you have to make sure you have that here as well on the master, that you can turn on or off this output. And you have to be careful. This is what controls your headset so that you hear people like you in my broadcast. If I were to have you come in on a call, I would hear you through that channel over there. Anything else like the Get Vocal intro that I do with a video sometimes, or my webcam, which is actually not, that's right here. But you see how my audio is light blue? It's not green because my audio is not actually on. Now do you hear double audio? You should hear two of me, because I'm sending signals out through, well, at least I could because it was in my headphones. But I'm not actually sending any audio through vMix at all. I'm sending all my audio through my vMix or my voice meter setup. So whole different.
Yeah, because I was getting the settings from the input from what was it called? We got that Behringer thing. Can't remember what it's called. I got to pull it up. The U control. So that hooks up to our soundboard, and then I can obviously modulate the volume, and I could hear it in my headphones, which was fine because I was like, yes, it's working. But when I broadcasted to the Facebook, there was no sound. And I don't know if it's a Facebook thing or what you're saying. I guess I didn't check the master output of what that was showing.
Well, on Facebook, were you going through the front end or RTMP?
RTMP.
Okay, then if you're broadcasting to Facebook with RTMP, you have to be certain all devices connected to vMix are producing audio for the output, because you're not relying on the connector. You're not relying on being able to select a camera and an audio device. When you send a RTMP signal, what you're sending is both at the same time. So it's not like WebRTC where you select your camera and you select your audio. They're relying on you to produce a signal that contains both. And when you do that on Facebook with vMix, you have to make sure these bars over here that I'm showing on my audio are green and running, and that the audios are on in each of those modules that are broadcasting sound. If it's not, I've also run into issues sometimes transitioning between some of these. If you mess with certain settings on how it brings in like overlays and stuff, it can automatically turn off the mic when you switch views and viewports. So you got to watch for it and go through a test real quick with your system. Like if I go over here, just see how you couldn't see it. When I did that, when I transitioned like this, right, you see my audio's blue on the screen right here next. Well, let me point the other way. Right here next to my thumb right there. If I fade my image up here in this screen over to this screen, which is the output screen, watch what happens. Well, you'll hear my voice come in again. You may have caught it just as I did that. The audio goes to green, now back to blue, because it's cutting out the audio just by switching between the two windows. So you have to watch for that and make sure that the switching you're doing isn't turning off your audio. The way to handle that is to watch for the settings over here where you actually have the right to let them mix it and do the auto mixing for you. So it's kind of tricky.
I didn't see anything in master. I mean, when we did a Saturday night, master was going up and down, no problem. Everything was working fine. And when I turned it on Sunday, it was just like the master was gone. And I don't understand what happened.
You mean this master component was gone?
Well, no, it was there, but it wasn't going up and down.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got you. And right here, there's nothing to show.
Well, yeah, yours isn't going down, up or down.
There's no meter for that. No, all the audio devices are individual. This is just the master mixer. So you won't see a bounce there. It's all about, if you want to see that, you got to go to the wheel, and then you'll be able to come down here to the EQ, or I'm sorry, the compressor or the noise gate should give you, oh, it's not. Let me see. Like if I were, ooh, that's interesting. Because I'm not using the master in this particular case. I wonder if they changed.
Yeah, because I swear I had the master going, bouncing up and down. Did you just
get an update? I just got an update this morning. Did you get the update recent, the 56?
I must have. I don't know. I don't know which one I got.
I'll have to check that out, dude. I just realized that there isn't a bar there anymore. There should be, really. Because that way you know it's going to the master. But those settings here for that, obviously, are whether or not you go with the audio here.
Right.
You could switch the master output, obviously, but you could even make sure your default bus for any new inputs is also the master. ABs I never use yet because I don't have enough equipment over here to worry about extra sound inputs on other channels. That's if you wanted to bring in other audio sources. All right.
By ET. Sorry, it was too technical for ET. Or he
Oh,
already
that's all
knows it.
good. That's all good. All right, ET, take care. I appreciate you stopping by today. We just got a little deep into stuff, but we can get off that topic if you want to hang out. That's no problem. Let me just close up a couple things here, and I'll come back on screen.
I appreciate you sharing that with me because it was frustrating, and obviously the graphics look good. I mean, I had a really nice presentation, but no sound.
Nothing came on.
So it's kind of frustrating, but especially when people come in and they say no sound. Hey, where's the sound?
Right? I totally get it, dude. I totally get it. So, how was your Easter anyway?
It was good. Yeah, it was good. It was short, but sweet, and got a lot of things. Didn't really relax because you can't relax if you're part of a pastor family.
I'm sure. So, your dad was a pastor?
Yeah, so was my mother-in-law. My mother and father-in-law. Yeah.
Both active right now?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
So
Yeah,
eventually they're going to give it up. So we don't know what's going to happen. 2 boys and a girl.
Yep. I get it. That's our family. Not my mom's side so much, or my dad's side, even for that matter. It was my grandparents, very fundamental Baptists, and same with Jenna's side of the family, very Southern Baptists. And yeah.
Anabaptists.
When they're preaching. There ain't no doubt about it. But for us, we took a journey on that, and we're on another side of the spectrum now. But it was an interesting journey for sure. So
yeah, we're not non-denominational, so we cover
that would
all.
have been me as a Christian. Absolutely, yeah, for sure. I just can't take the heat on what's going on. That's another thing. We just had another issue with a synagogue being shot up in California this weekend. It's gotten to the point where we're almost afraid to go to shul anymore. You don't know whether or not somebody's going to storm in the front door and start shooting weapons at you. So, it's
hold on. I got to go. Sorry, I got to call.
Yeah, go ahead. If it's a call you got to take, that's perfectly logical. We understand. That's what happens out here at Wake Up West Coast. We just kind of hang out to network. We're here to hang out and get to know each other. So if you want to come on board, if you're out there on Facebook or on YouTube, even for that matter, I can collect signals from both sides. I'm not actually collecting anything from YouTube. Let's see what's going on over there. Maybe we've got a couple comments from the folks over there. I should be able to see a live stream from this. Let's see what happens. Normally, I would just come out here for about an hour. Today, I'm probably going to even make it shorter than that since we're just simply wrapping up the week. I should say wrapping up the season 2 out here. We didn't make a big fancy finale show or anything like that because of the holidays the week before. I was just ready to kind of wrap this thing up for spring with everybody getting outdoors and playing around and doing their thing, fixing up their houses and all that stuff, which is what we need to do as well. I've managed to get out and take care of a lot of the landscape that's going on. We're having a big tree cut down in the front yard. Hopefully by the end of next month. We're just waiting for the tree service to come by. We've got a huge pine tree that sits in our front yard and leaves needles that are like this long all over. They shoot up into your foot through your flip-flops, and we just can't take it anymore. And we've had enough. So that's going away. I will be coming out here Wednesday. I'm going to look at that 9 o'clock slot, see how that works out. We're going to be going through all kinds of really cool stuff when it comes to, while Preston is gone, and he may come back, but we're just going to cover a couple of things here. Some of the things I'll be talking about the most probably are vMix software, where we'll cover vMix live production. I'll let you know all about this mixer, switcher, encoder, and call-in software that I use regularly. I am connected with a pro version. There are free versions available of vMix that we can start with and let you guys understand the basic principles and working knowledge of how vMix works. Along with that, we'll probably go ahead and cover some Wirecast as well. I have versions here of Wirecast that are available so that we can see through a very similar process package, but a much different workflow. So it really depends on what type of broadcast you want to do so that you can understand the different softwares and feature sets that are available. Another one of my favorites is VidBlaster. This is a very inexpensive software, though it can get very expensive if you want it to. It's modular based. It looks a lot like vMix on the back end, but you have the ability to literally create and move around modules all over the screen. We'll go through that software as well. And then at some point or another, I'm sure I'll have to load up ManyCam and make certain that we have some features that are available. They've done a lot of changes over the past several years, ManyCam being probably literally one of the leading giants when it comes to live streaming software. It's just that they were really bug they were bug infested for a while. They've had issues with Mac users as well when it comes to their virtual cameras, but it seems over the years they keep continuing to build services and features into the software that are working. And now it's a much more stable package than it used to be. So we're going to look back into that. If you want to find any reviews on any of this stuff that I do, you can find me over at bcblive.com. And I'll leave a link in the chat for those who may come and watch the replay. Well, you won't be able to see it on the replay. That'd be nice if we could see that. One of these days, that's going to be the case, right? So if you're up for that, I'm going to switch broadcast seats here for just a second. I'm going to lock down the seats because I think I'm just going to go ahead and wrap this broadcast up. But what we have over there is the ability to find all those websites that you may not be familiar with or have never seen before, and you need more information. Head over to bcblive.com, and underneath some of the pull downs that you'll find over there, I have several different areas of information that you can find. Some of that being the Livebox server system that we've put together over at Livebox USA. This allows you to syndicate your information out to several channels for a very low price, comparing to Restream and Caster.io. I have links to all of the software apps available out there, whether they're audio apps, live broadcasting apps, live streaming websites, syndication sites, video chats, or editing and codecs. Go over there and you'll find all the links you need to get that information, along with some reviews on hardware like audio mixers, computer components, lights and lighting, mics and microphones, and recording and capturing equipment. So go check out bcblive.com. And that's where you'll also find my book under the Best Live Guide 2017, which I considered an update to this book, but it's gotten to the point really where things are in flux and changing so quickly and so often that it's very difficult to maintain an update for a book of this size. So what I intend to do is probably reduce it down to a couple different modules, one based on live streaming apps, one based on live streaming websites, another based on components and hardware and building out the PC for your studio. And from there, we'll just continue and see where it goes from there. So I'm thinking that's going to stay at the version it's at. If you want a copy, you can simply follow the links, get 70% off through, oh, that was up until 2018. I better go update my website. Anyway, that's all I've got for you guys today. I appreciate you all coming out to Wake Up West Coast this morning. To play on words. We're here. It's noon. It's only 9 a.m. out on the West Coast. I condolences go out to all of those who were affected by the shooting at the synagogue out in Southern California. So our hearts go out to you very much so. And from that, we'll leave you until next time. Hopefully we'll fire things up. Maybe the summer, maybe the fall. I'm thinking fall is probably going to be the best shot for Wake Up West Coast because so many people are out and about in the sunshine doing their thing, that sitting down and networking isn't always thing that people want to do on video at that time of the year. But we will come out here for those in the evenings and maybe hang out, do some networking, and also learn a little bit more about live stream broadcasting. So we'll see you in the next video, everybody. Take care and have a great, wonderful week. See you. Bye-bye. Okay.